Good morning and welcome to Smart Means Business. I'm Andrew Barigi of January 2025 and very delighted that Smart Means Business. We're going to be really exploring quite various aspects, events that have been around the world for the last days, and also shall be taking a look at what is the way forward, and maybe something that happened yesterday evening time, I guess, when traders within Kampala city around Arua Park, the buildings really got burnt severely, and the traders actually lost a lot of money, and they are counting huge. Now, after the fire got the building, the traders making quite some huge losses. Now, traders at Arua Park are counting losses after the merchandise worth millions of shillings was destroyed. And that is by fire that broke out at the Nyumba Kubwa building. That was yesterday. Now, the fire broke off at around, it was around 11 a.m. It was in the morning hours, and the traders were counting losses after the merchandise worth millions went missing. Now, the fire that broke off about at 11 a.m. gutted about 16 lockup shops. You can imagine that, leaving more than 4 people injured. Now, we had the sportswear, and then we had the shops, the cosmetics, we had the restaurants, and also electronics. So, according to the eyewitnesses, out at a chemical store at the building while the tenants were actually cooking. Now, they were asking the landlords to immediately stop the people who are cooking on such a big building, and now they were putting their lives in danger. This is according to what is coming out of that report. Now, Miss Patience Ajenja, the secretary that is of Mono Village, said in buildings like this, they should not use fire recklessly. It doesn't really add up. And he also urged that the government needs to wake up. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. The government should come up with a policy that all buildings should have smoke detectors and the fire extinguishers. Also, part of the policy, this was suggested by part of the stakeholders into the trade. Now, the cause of this fire is yet to be established because investigations are definitely still going on, and they have not registered any deaths. But they were told that people sustained injuries. This is according to the eyewitnesses right there. Now, of course, we see that Mr. Okobo is one of the traders. Actually, he's the director of the police fire and rescue services, added that the police should actually establish the shops. It should ensure. He added that the police established that one of the destroyed crops had actually potentially harmful chemicals. Now, they witnessed one shop with the chemicals, according to what they are saying, which types they did not know. Now, when they're trying to put away the fire, their extinguishers experienced irritation, and they're yet to confirm the chemical types. This is according to what Mr. Okobo said. Now, in an interview still with Mr. Godfrey Katongole, that is the chairman of the Kampala Cater Traders Association, he tasked the government to produce a comprehensive report. Now, he said that he was actually calling out the police to come up with a comprehensive report showing the major fire causes and solutions on how this will definitely be solved. So all this was looked into, and the City House building caught fire and many other buildings, but nothing has been done to stop the fire breakouts in the building. This is according to what the chairman said. Now, Mr. Katongole, who also doubles as the president of Uganda, a National Trade Alliance, called upon the government to ensure that all public buildings have firefighting equipment, and there are they are tasking the landlord to immediately compensate all the traders who lost millions of shillings. Now, they believe that the traders have been paying a lot of money. Now, people that sustain the injuries should be treated. That's according to what they mentioned. So it's quite very upset what happened. And I think it's not the first time in Uganda when we have fire breakouts, in business places. So that was quite absurd. We had the incidents. I think it was Owino has actually had about 2 incidents that have happened. Then we also had, it was way back, was it in 2022? There was also a fire somewhere within one of the buildings in town. And actually, there is a building opposite the new taxi park next to, the opposite the new taxi park some time back. Also, the structure also caught fire. Yeah, so we've been having quite lots of these happening, and it's not okay. It paints a picture definitely when it comes to the government's, efforts when it comes to protecting the citizens, whereby we shouldn't wait for the event to happen, but they ought to be contingencies. So the question is, what are the contingencies that the government of Uganda has in case the next fire outbreak perhaps happens within the city center? What is the strategy? What is plan A? What is plan B? So all this is looked into when it comes to weighing the degree when it comes to weighing the degree of the responsiveness to the government of such incidents. But of course, still, what we can say is that they're trying. They are trying to put it in here. Okay, now heading into it's the press brief. We're actually into the press brief. We have a story here about Museveni crowned Luo elder alongside Kenya's Ruto and Odinga. And of course, the president thanked the Luos for making him an elder in the community. And they think it is the honor of the people of Uganda. Of course, that's according to President Yoweri Museveni. And of course, in 2 other stories, we see a man arrested over murder here of a schoolgirl in Tiana. There is details there. I tried to find out. I don't have a hard copy, but I'm just trying to obtain it from the soft copy to really observe this. All right. Well, we have also another story. This is within the New Vision. It's all about the global condemnation and condolences for New Orleans attack. Now, of course, Pope Francis was deeply saddened to learn the loss of life and injury. The Vatican Secretary of State wrote in a message. So there are lots. So the New Orleans saga is still in here, and the Palestinian Authority definitely suspends suspends. Let me take a look at this shortly as we take a look. Yes, an Al Jazeera employee contacted by AFP here, and Al Jazeera is one of those media houses that have really experienced sanctions. There is a time when one of the journalists were actually arrested in Egypt, and now he's seeing something here. The employee contacted the AFP and confirmed that the network's office in Ramallah had received a suspension order on Wednesday. Now, this is in relation to the Palestinian Authority suspending Al Jazeera broadcasts right there. Now, heading straight to the local press. Just got in the hard copy at this particular time, but now let's review it. Now, I kickstart off with the Daily Monitor. Now, the top page here is the gangster's paradise. Of course, as we see, arch rivals, they've mentioned here Palazzo and Alan Skin, who seemed grimly determined to walk through the valley, the shadow of death. Now, the Uganda Police Force said it will do anything within its powers to ensure that the two camps do not make a bad situation. Now, of course, there are also stories, further details regarding the fire, as fire ravages Arua Park, a building and leaves shredders, counting the losses. Yes, and now Unjeru Farm, family demands 142 billion from the government. And then on the electricity side, how new power tariffs will actually impact the economy. Now, the ERA announced reduced power tariffs for domestic, commercial, and industrial users. And now we know that the ERA says the move will ensure a better, affordable service at the end of it all. Okay. Now, there are further details regarding the fires that occurred in the city center. That was yesterday. So you can grab yourself a copy to find out the further details of what it is entailed as we proceed here. Now, the Chenjojo accident, death toll rises to about 14 as we see the taxi traveling from Kampala to Fort Portal collided with another taxi. Now, the road crash is blamed on reckless driving, this according to what the experts mentioned. Okay, now proceeding. Of course, there is a lot over here. Of course, what's the beef, the root of rivalries, of course, which was making the headlines for the Gangster's Paradise, which is the headline on the Daily Monitor. Now, there is lots of details concerning that, but maybe when I get into the session regarding entertainment, we shall be really getting to review some of that. And now there is details on how the power tariffs will actually impact the economy. Now, the energy minister, Ruth Nakabiwa, says that 5.2% reduction in the weighted average on the user tariff achievement will actually save consumers from expensive bill and boost economic growth. And that's according to the tariffs. And now they have all been listed here. As you grab yourself a copy, you will find out what it is entailed. And now, of course, a new initiative to revamp Acholi economic culture. Now, the initiative comes at a time when there is a power struggle between the chiefs and Acholi cultural leader. So there is details entailed there. And of course, here, Emorimar tells politicians to give them a year free of chaos. That is interesting. And now the Bank of Uganda is lending to bank surges. Now commercial banks are borrowing from the Bank of Uganda. Standing lending facility rose from 3.7 trillion in August to 25.2, representing a six-fold increase. So. Now, 681% commercial banks borrowed. That was borrowed about 21.5 trillion in the 3 months to November, which was 681% increase from the 3.7 trillion in August. So grab yourself a copy of the Daily Monitor to get the further details as you join us here on Smart Means Business. Okay. And now heading into the comment section, there is a question that is, what one of the writers says, is Donald Trump's MAGA having a test of Ugandan wars? Yeah, so there is a very interesting aspect. Now, the UNBS seeks 144 billion Ugandan shillings budget enhancement. Now, the National Bureau of Standards has said that its current budget allocation is just a third of what needs to function effectively. Yep. So there is details as you get further into these reports. And now proceeding along here into the scoop, perhaps, okay, maybe it's not yet, we shall reach there. Now, there is a special report here of how gold mining has changed the fortunes of women and youth. Now, gold mining in Tira, Busitema, Busia district began in the 1928, and today women are the predominant gender in the gold mine and its surroundings. Yeah, so see how the young people have actually made money out of the gold. There is further details regarding that. Now, Ginger Hospital, children's ward hit by equipment shortage. Now, the missing machines guide the doctors in decision making of what tests and treatment the patient should actually be given. Yeah, so details have been highlighted there. And now we see Kibuku sub-county with only 2 students in A level. Oh, so it's really happening actually. It's really happening. It's because when you're not exposed, it's hard to believe of what really happens, but you will be shocked of what really is happening. Now, endgame in Ukraine, how the war could actually end in 2025. Now, as the invasion reaches the end of its 3rd year, at an estimated cost of about 1 million people killed or wounded, Ukraine appears to be losing, definitely. But you know something? There are 2 aspects of war. Okay, there is a battle and there is a war. You can win a battle, but you lose the war, you know. And winning the battle doesn't really necessarily mean that you outnumbered your that you outnumbered your enemy. Let me say it that way. You know, it doesn't mean that you outnumbered your enemy, but simply global sympathy in itself is enough. You know, global sympathy to Ukraine is enough for Russia to actually be held accountable to stop the military operations in that country. So who has won? You know, it's not Russia, it's Ukraine. You know, global sympathy can actually also contribute to that. So Russia can win the battles, but Ukraine can win the war. The battle is just a subsection within the war. Yeah, so this is what we see. So the end game in Ukraine, how the war will actually end in 2025. Okay, now as we proceed to this, in the job section, of course, there is somebody here who says that I don't need to regret switching careers. Now, there is a teacher here, translator and interpreter of Chinese language, who holds a bachelor's degree in information technology and another in Chinese language and Asian universities from Makerere. So, see how being a multi-linguist personnel can actually be of great help when it comes to opportunities. Now, consider Chinese when hiring staff. This is what some of the stakeholders that have been, it's just an opinion anyway, to consider Chinese when hiring. So, what is the reason? For that, grab yourself a copy to really find out what is entailed. And from the sports side, nothing beats maiden T20, a World Cup moment for Uganda. Yeah, grab yourself a copy to get that. And you also set to focus on results for support. All right, now I'm switching to the new vision. Now, what is making headlines here? The government has lowered the power tariffs, and the biggest reduction in 10 years, and manufacturers are welcome, you know, on board. So, because the energy generation will actually be sufficient, and it will boost businesses at the end of the day. Now, the biggest reduction in 10 years, manufacturers welcome the move. Now, still, benefits Uganda will gain from the BRICS partnership. There have been also put in place here. Now, the BRICS comprises the Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So, how is Uganda really going to benefit? Now, Uganda gains expanded and preferential access to a vast market of over 3 billion consumers. And now this means key exports such as coffee, tea, may receive increased priority in these markets. So it's quite a huge advantage for Uganda. And of course, there is a breakdown here of the tariffs, you know, electricity tariffs since 2017. How have they been increasing? Have we stayed? So get to when you grab yourself a copy, you will be in position to analyze these actualities. And now we also see a government eyes more revenue from the mining sector. There is further details also that. Grab yourself a copy. And now, according to the minister, he said that they have distributed about 13,733 liquefied petroleum gas starter kits in Kampala. And also Mukono and Wakiso is also inclusive in that. So there is too much to really analyze. And now, as proceeding along, there is a suggestion of disarmament. Archbishop Semogere decrees corruption, land grabbing, decries. Now he says, let's disarm our hearts of all those ungodly things. That's what he said. Now the Teachers Circle changes credit model. Get yourself a copy to find out what is that credit model. How has it changed? Now, the Dairy Authority mourns former board member. Oh, rest in peace. Mr. Okwil, a veterinary doctor, was by training, had a long and distinguished career in public service. Now, he definitely rose to the position of Assistant Commissioner for Veterinary Services in the Ministry of Agriculture, before resigning to work with the World Food Program. So very upset for him right there, and let him rest in peace. Now, India, in international here, India wants permanent United Nations Security Council seat for Africa. Now, the President, Yoweri Museveni, suggested that Africa should at least have 2 permanent seats at the Security Council. And it is therefore a circus to waste time year after year debating the obvious. Now, they demand something, they demand the right of having permanent seats, not the seasonal ones allotted. Okay, so there is something to say. India wants permanent UN Secretary Council seat for Africa. Now, in the comment section, as we get in there, Uganda's path to prosperity in 2025, what is it about? There is some in the comment section, somebody wrote something like, and now, of course, Africa's strides on democratic path 2024. Yeah, there is details to that also as we move along. Now, as it still proceed here, let me check a look. Of course, we see a full page showcasing how Ugandans welcome the new. It's quite very impressive. Okay, and that is it for our press brief, and it is exactly 27 minutes past 7 a.m. Let's go for a short break, and I'll be returning for us to take a look at Caribbean East Africa and the international update. Stick around.
Smart 24, driving business.
Cooking oil like no other.